Present day. Present time.
Okay, so today I'll be giving my review of Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. I enjoyed the game, but by all means, it's not a perfect game. Yes, some of these will be more personal opinions and how I feel about the game. People might feel differently about this game, but that said, mostly I have really good things to say about this game, so let's get it. Okay, Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon is a dark first-person open-world RPG it's set in a cursed version of the Arthurian legend, aka King Arthur. The game begins you waking up in a prison in a world where it's literally falling apart both physically and spiritual. And King Arthur is pretty much dead. The weirdness is spreading like a plague around this whole world, and once a noble knight have either vanished or they've torn into these monsters, these corrupted monsters. You play as a nobody, just another expendable soul thrown into a hopeless and land full of crumbling villages. It has like these fanatics called corrupted creatures and ancient ruins soaked in blood and mystery. Like, there's a lot of weird shit and side quests in this game. Corrupted creatures. They even put like a dark abortion corrupted mom and her whole punishment for aborting so many babies. It got really dark at some points. I do gotta say this game has a lot of mystery, and a lot of the side quests actually make me really want to explore the world around it. So your job in this whole universe, well, you have to survive long enough to figure out. You got to figure out why this matters to you, basically, and how you play a part in it. Eventually, you'll figure that out and why it's so important to you. The game blends classic Western RPG elements like branching dialogues, moral choices, exploration, and skill-based progression. It's a lot like Skyrim, but with that grim, hopeless type of vibe, focused more on fate, sacrifice, and price of power. It's more desperation than heroism, I would say. No chosen one prophecy, just slowly decay in this world where every decision feels like picking the lesser evil. I really like that touch right there. This game does not shy away from dark topics. And it sure hell doesn't sanitize anything like modern AAA studios do these days. I'm looking at you, Bethesda. To think of it, the game feels like Skyrim. It was actually made for adults. A freaking group of people that basically their fan base, if they actually realize that their fan base has matured. With a hint of World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King, like the Wrath of the Lich King vibes, on that king's tragic lore and constant sense of doom and crawling under your skin. And that's what I love about this game. It isn't afraid to go dark, like really dark. Like there's some fucked up quests in there you're gonna find. It doesn't sanitize a single thing in the game. No soft edges, no hope wins, no messaging, no political. It's just a brutal, mature storytelling. It's basically like what Bethesda wishes they could be. I mean, they can, but they choose not to. When did Bethesda decided to go this soft? Like, why can't they make something like this? Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay and combat. Now, here's when thing gets interesting. The gameplay feels like Skyrim if it had an actual soul crushing hangover and then got in a bar fight with Dark Souls. I would say that the combat is slower than a Souls game, but it still has that same that if you screw me over, I'll come back, get stronger, I'll really fuck you up. Like, it really makes you like prep for it. You can't just like spam attacks brainlessly. You have to actually imagine your stamina, your position, yourself, the dodges, how much you dodge, right time. Think about your build. Whether you're running heavy weapon, ranged weapons, magic, the depth here feels satisfying. This isn't just a stat game if you know how to fight. You can outplay stronger enemies if you're careful enough. I personally went for the type of build where I focus on a lot of crit, and then I had like these whole gear where I get like people hit me and they get bleed damage and I stop bleed damage. Then my weapon will stack crit, bleed damage, and on top of that, they'll lose the more they hit me, the more bleed they stuck on top of themselves, plus the quit, and I had poison. So I had like a full type of like dot bill going on. And I based it off my Dragon Knight from the Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know. I had to put that out there. I thought it was cool. It's not just gear and stats. Like, you could actually get pretty creative with the builds. The skill system, oh, it gives you a room to experiment too. It is not like you're not going to be able to find potions to reset your stats. you will find plenty of those resets potions. I know I explained my build before. I also did like it was a berserker stacking with bleed crits and stuff. So the more people hit me, the more damage they got dots. And then with me doing I like the whole build was kind of cool, I would say. And I love how brutal it felt playing as a whatever that class of berserker I said. You feel like a savage, and it is in a collapsing world with no suspension. Like I, I mean, with no superhero. Now let's talk about questing and writing. Like this game at the beginning, it has such a freaking strong start, and it does. Trust me, the main quest is pretty solid. At certain times, it's not the most original, I would say, but it has moments where the writing hits hard. Then there's real choices you gotta make, moral ones, twisted ones, because none of them seem really good. But that's what it's like, those moments that make you kind of like question who's actually right in all this mess. That's why I said before that it's more like picking the lesser evil. As for side quests, they're kind of like a mixed bag. Some of them are really good and twisted and like the story, you're like, "What the actual fuck? All this from a single NPC?" But then and they give you insight into the lore and the challenge, and like others kind of feel like fillers. Not all the quests are made equal. Some of them just feel like they're just there to fill in. But the game earns its tone, I would say, with consistent war building and solid choices, and the voice acting so fucking good. Like, I was in love with the freaking voice acting. And don't even get me started with the music. Now, listen to this music. Listen to me and tell me this is not good. I fell in love with the music and the loading screen. I'm like, ooh, ooh. So let's talk about more what I liked about the game. I'm just gonna straight up list it. The game feels like Skyrim mid soul in tone, design, even challenge. At times, I would say it feels more like a Souls game at certain fights. And I'm not the type of person who's afraid to dive into dark theme type of games. Warp and morality, cosmic horror, loss. It embraces the hopeless vibe fully. Combat feels surprisingly good. Depth, weight, build variety, and you get really creative with it. The world is immersive, curves, it has like that dreamy in a way, and it feels more intentional and earned, in my opinion. Exploration feels rewarding. Ancient ruins, hidden loot, unsettling discoveries. If you're into adult fantasy with no handholding, this game gives you a lot to shoot on. I will say getting a good weapon is kind of hard, and when you get one, you better off just take that weapon and upgrade it. Protect that with your soul, because it's gonna be really hard when you find another viable weapon. I like that about it because not only you gotta focus on upgrading, but you gotta build it and you gotta make your build around it. Start building around your weapon. So what you have, what you get, you have to come up with the best thing you had, and it kind of adds to the difficulty of the game while even having to really like boost up the difficulty. So let's talk about more why I dislike about this game. Let's get this one out of the way. Let's put the elephant in the room. Okay, the game is buggy. And I mean Bethesda level buggy. I wouldn't even say Bethesda, maybe worse when it comes to that. Like sometimes I had like it took me so long to beat the game because the bugs were holding me back from completing certain quests that were crucial. So that was kind of like something I really struggle with in the game. Right in the beginning of the class, I was getting bugs with sigils and the class system. Like if according to what answers you give of what class you're going to get and how you set your stats, and I was having a really hard time getting the game to actually reassign me the correct class. So I had to use a debugging tool to actually properly reassign the class that I'm supposed to actually get in the beginning of the game. Now, another one is that the game breaks in the dumbest way. Sometimes there's constant crashing. Sometimes I get like a crash like once a day, which is not that bad. But there's other days that I was crashing like every hour, and I fucking hated it. Anyway, Compass randomly decides to freaking gaslight me and not point out where I'm supposed to go. Not only that, when I enter a cave or a portal, unlike Bethesda games, you can't actually check your map. And on top of a compass being broken, it really forces you to explore and remember the area. So you will be going through the same area over and over and do it by memory. Let's talk about more about the map. So when you go through portals, your map becomes unusable basically, and you're stuck relying on a broken compass, as I said before, while eyeballing your surroundings like a blind drunk pirate. This is one of the things I hate most about the game. Well, before that, before we get into it, let's talk about the climbing. The climbing is basically a joke. Sometimes you have to glitch your way through an entrance or to go in a certain way, because even though you're supposed to go that way, it just doesn't want to work. So you gotta break the game in order to get to your objective. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is the main thing I hate about the game. So the game makes you grind for gold to upgrade your gear, even when you already have all the materials. Why? You're telling me you're literally doing the upgrading. Why would I need to pay for myself? I never got this about the game. And the upgrades get so expensive. The higher it is, the more it goes. Like there's some good grinding stuff for material, but the gold amount that you need to upgrade a single piece of gear, it's it's crazy. Like, so yeah, there's a little bit of grinding in this game. I would say a lot of grinding. As for performance, the game was performing really well before. It was performing perfectly well. DOS 4 and all that. DOS was working and all the things. And then one day I got an update and it broke it. And then it didn't want to work. The game started dropping to like 90 frames when it was performing at 200 plus. And I've noticed that this issue is only when you play at 1080p or 1440. If you play at 4K, for some reason it performs better. I don't know why. Don't know the explanation, but I'm guessing they optimize it for that resolution. I don't know why. The graphics don't look the best, but the lighting is so beautiful in the game at certain points that it makes up for like the poor graphics this time. But the art style, I love the art style. It's beautiful. Now, the ending is meh, depend for what choice you choose. Let's just say it's one of those games where there's no really a happy ending. It's more like there's always gonna be like the sad part, no happy endings here, basically. So when I beat the game, I feel kind of overwhelmed because I thought that the final boss was actually gonna be harder, and because I met some really hard bosses through the gameplay, but the last fight was kind of like man, like it wasn't that crazy as I expected. But the ending always has like the dark tone. I liked it, didn't hate it, didn't like it. It's like a mixed bag for me. It's not that no happy endings bother me, but like the execution of the ending just felt a little bit generic. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's something missing there, you know? So my final verdict in all this is like Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. It's more, if I had to describe it, as like an ambitious mess. And I kind of love that. I kind of love it for that. When it works, it delivers. It's unforgettable, grimdark RPG experience, and that sticks with you. It has some way, some atmosphere, satisfying combat, and a unique take of the Arthurian myth. Yes, the Excalibur. But when it breaks, it will really frustrate you in ways that player would not have. When it breaks, it will frustrate you in ways that players wouldn't have to deal with in 2025. But if you're willing to put with the jank and you want something that feels different from other games that are polished and they're too sanitized with that most triple A game studio bullshit that they put out today, then yeah, I recommend it. Maybe not the full price, but definitely worth playing if you like dark fantasies. If bugs piss you off easily, then skip and wait for more patches. But for 40 or $45 price, I think it's pretty good. Like I don't think it justified the bucks if there's other games out there that don't have as many bucks at least. But considering that I like the story and I had fun with it, me personally, I think $40 is more than okay. As always, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and tell me what was your favorite part of the game. Um, just tell me what's your opinion. Do you like the game? Do you hate the game? What you like about the game? What you hate? Just drop me a comment. And until next time. And as always, stay spooky, stay weird. Bye.